Job. Job 29. Job's summary defense. Job further continued his discourse and said, "Oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness, just as I was in the days of my pride, when the friendly counsel of God was over my tent, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me, when I went out to the gate by the city, when I took my seat in the open square. The young men saw me and hid, and the aged arose and stood. The princes refrained from talking, and put their hands on their mouth. The voice of nobles was hushed, and their tongue stuck to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard, then he blessed me, and when the eye saw, then he approved me. Because I deliver the poor who cry out, the fatherless, and the one who had no helper. The blessing of a perishing man came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clotheth me. My justice was like a robe and a turban. I was eyes to the blind, and I was feet to the lame. I was a father to the poor, and I searched out the case that I did not know. I broke the fangs of the wicked and plucked the victim from his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and multiply my days as the sand. My root is spread out to the waters, and the dew lies all night on my branch. My glory is fresh within me, and my bow is renewed in my hand. Men listened to me and waited, and kept silence for my counsel. After my words, they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them as dew. They waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the spring rain. If I mocked at them, they did not believe it, and the light of my countenance they did not cast down. I chose the way for them, and they sat as chief. So I dwelt as a king in the army, as one who comfort mourners. Job wealth, now poverty. But now they mock at me, men younger than I, whose fathers I disdained to put with the dogs of my flock. Indeed, what profit is the strength of their hands to me? Their vigor has perished. They are gone from want and famine, fleeing to the wilderness desolate and waste, who pluck mallow by the bushes and broom the root for their food. They were driven out from among men. They shouted at them as a chief. They had to live in the cleft of the valleys, in caves of the earth and the rocks. Among the bushes they bred, under the nettles they nestled. They were sons of fools, yes, sons of vile men. They were scourged from the land, and now I am their taunting song. Yes, I am their byword. They abhor me, they keep far from me. They do not hesitate to spit in my face. Because he has loosed my bowstring and afflicted me, Ye have cast off restraint before me, and my right hand the rebel arises, to push away my feet, and ye raise against me your ways of destruction. They break up my path, they promote my calamity. They have no helper, they come as broad breakers, under the ruinous storm they roll along. Heroes are turned upon me, they pursue my honor as the wind, and my prosperity has passed like a cloud. And now my soul is poured out because of my plight. The days of affliction take hold of me, my bones are pierced in me at night, and my gnawing pains take no rest. By great force my garment is disfigured. It binds me about the collar of my coat. He has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up, and you regard me, but you have become cruel to me. With the strength of your hand you oppose me. You lift me up to the wind and cause me to ride on it. You spoil my success, for I know that you will bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Surely I will not stretch out his hand against a heap of ruins, if they cry out when he destroys it. Have I not wept from him who was in trouble? Has not my soul grieved for the poor? But when I looked for good, evil came to me, and when I waited for light, then came darkness. My heart is in turmoil and cannot rest. Days of affliction confront me. I go about mourning, but not in the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry out for help. I am a brother of jackals and a companion of ostriches. My skin grows black and falls from me. My bones burn with fever. My harp is turned to mourning, and my flute to the voice of those who weep. Job defends his righteousness. I have made a covenant with my Isis. Why then should I look upon a young woman? For what is the allotment of God from above, and the inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is it not destruction for the wicked, and disaster for the workers of iniquity? Does he not see my ways, and count all my steps? If I have walked with falsehood, or if my foot has hasted to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. If my step has turned from the way, or my heart walk after my Isis, or if any spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow and another eat. Yes, let my harvest be rooted out. If my heart has been intensed by a woman, or if I have ragged at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grant for another, and let others bow down over her, for that would be wickedness. Yes, it will be iniquity, deserving of judgment, for that would be a fire that consumed to destruction, and will root out all my increase. If I have despised the cause of my male or female servant, when they complain against me, what then shall I do when God rise up? When he punish, how shall I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one fashion us in the womb? If I have kept the poor from their design, or caused the Isis of the widow to fail, or eaten my morsel by myself, so that the fatherless could not eat of it. But from my youth I reared him as a father, and from my mother's womb I guided the widow. If I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor man without covering, if his herd has not blessed me, and if he was not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hands against the fatherless, when I saw I had help in the gate, then let my heart fall from my shoulder, and my heart be torn from the socket. For destruction from God is a terror to me, and because of his magnificence I cannot endure. If I have made God my phone, my hope, or said to find God, you are my confidence. If I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand has gained much. If I have observed the sun when it shines, or the moon moving in brightness, so that my heart has been secretly enticed, and my mouth has kissed my hand, this also will be an iniquity deserving of judgment, for I will have denied God who is above. If I have rejoiced at the destruction of him who hurted me, or lifted myself up when evil found him, indeed I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on his soul. If the men of my tent have not said, who is there that has not been satisfied with his meat? But no sojourner had to lodge in the street, for I have opened my doors to the traveler. If I have covered my transgression as Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, because I feared the great multitude and dreaded the contempt of families, so that I kept silence and did not go out to the door. Oh, that I had one to hear me, hear my mark. Oh, that the Almighty would answer me, that my prosecutor had written a book. Surely I will carry it on my shoulder and bind it on me like a crown. I will declare to him the number of my steps. Like a prince I will approach it. If my land cries out against me, and its furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruit without money, or caused its owner to lose their lives, then let thistles grow instead of wheat, and wheat instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Elihu contradicts Job's friends. So there's 3 men ceased answering Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barashel, the Buzite of the family of Ram, was aroused against Job. His wrath was aroused because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his 3 friends, his wrath was aroused because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now because they were years older than he, Elihu had waited to speak to Job. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of their 3 men, his wrath was aroused. So Elihu, the son of Barashel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are very old. Therefore I was afraid, and dared not declare my opinion to you. I said, age shall speak, and multitude of years shall teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. Great men are not always wise, nor do the aged always understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. I also will declare my opinion. Indeed, I waited for your words. I listened to your reasonings while you searched out what to say. I paid close attention to you and surely no one of you convinced Job or answered his words, lest you say, we have found wisdom. God will vanquish him, not man. Now he has not directed his words against me, so I will not answer him with your words. They are dismayed and answer no more. Words escaped them, and have waited because they did not speak, because they stood still and answered no more. I also will answer my part. I too will declare my opinion, for I am full of words. The spirit within me compels me. Indeed, my belly is like wine that has no vent. It is ready to burst, like new wineskins. I will speak, that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man, for I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker will soon take me away. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man, for I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker will soon take me away. Elihu contradicts Job, but please, Job, hear my speech, and listen to all my words. Now I open my mouth, my tongue speaks in my mouth. My words come from my upright heart. My lips utter pure knowledge the Spirit of God has made me. And the breath of the Almighty gives me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Take your stance. Truly, I am as your spokesman before God. I also have been formed out of clay. Surely, no fear of me will terrify you, nor will my hand be heavy on you. Surely, you have spoken in my hearing, and have heard the sound of your words, saying, I am pure without transgression, I am innocent, and there is no iniquity in me. Yet he finds occasion against me, he counts me as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks, he washes all my path. Look, in this you are not righteous. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. For God may speak in one way, or in another, yet man doesn't perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds. Then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed, and with strong pain in many of his bones, so that his life abhors bread, and his soul succulent food. His flesh wasted away from sight, and his bones stick out which once were not seen. Yes, his soul draws near the pit, and his life to execute sureness. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, or one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be young like a child. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. You shall see his face with joy, for he restores the man his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned and perverted what was right, and it did not profit me. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold, God works all these things, twice, in fact 3 times with a man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. Give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. Elihu proclaims God's justice. Elihu further answered and said, Hear my words, you wise men, give ear to me, you who have knowledge, for the ear tastes words, and the palate tastes food. Let us choose justice for ourselves. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but God has taken away my justice. Should I live concerning my right? My wound is incurable, so I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks scorn like water, who goes in company with the workers of iniquity, and walks with wicked men? For he has said, It profits a man nothing, that he should delight in God. Therefore listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity, for he repays man according to his work, and makes man to find a reward according to his way. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor will the Almighty pervert justice. Who gave him charge over the earth, or who appointed him over the whole world? If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh will perish together, and man will return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this, listen to the sound of my words. Should the one who hates justice govern? Will you condemn him who is most just? Is it fitting to say to a king, You are worthless, and to nobles, You are wicked? Yet he is not partial to princes, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die, in the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his step. There is no darkness, nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he need not further consider a man, that he should go before God in judgment. He breaks in pieces mighty men without inquiry, and sets others in their place. Therefore he knows their works. He overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turned back from him, and will not consider any of his ways, so that they caused the cry of the poor to come to him. For he hears the cry of the afflicted when he gives quietness. Who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him? Whether it is against a nation or a man alone, that the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to God, I have borne chastening, I will offend no more? Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Shall he repay it according to your terms, just because you disavow it? You must choose and not I. Therefore speak what you know. Men of understanding say to me, wise men will listen to me. Job speaks without knowledge. His words are without wisdom. Oh, that Job were tried to the utmost, because his answers are like those of wicked men, for he adds rebellion to his sins. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against God. Elihu condemns self-righteousness. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, "Do you think this is right? Do you say, my righteousness is more than God's? For you say, what advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than if I had sinned? I will answer you and your companions with you. Look to the heavens and see, and behold, the clouds, they are higher than you. If you sin, what do you accomplish against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects a man such as you, and your righteousness a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions, they cry out for help because of the harm of the mighty. But no one says, where is God, my Maker? Who gives songs in the night, who teach us more than the beasts of the earth, and make us wiser than the birds of heaven. There they cry out, but it doesn't answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not listen to empty talk, nor will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you do not see him, yet justice is before him, as you must wait for him. And now, because he has not punished in his anger, nor taken much notice of folly, therefore Job opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. Elihu proclaims God's goodness. Elihu also proceeded and said, bear with me a little, and I will show you that there are yet words to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. I will ascribe righteousness to my Maker, for truly my words are not false. One who is perfect and knowledge is with you. Behold, God is mighty, but despises no one. He is mighty in strength of understanding. He doesn't preserve the life of the wicked, but gives justice to the oppressed. He doesn't withdraw the eyes from the righteous, but they are on the throne with kings. For he has seated them forever, and they are exalted. And if they are bound in fetters, held in the court of affliction, then he tells them their work and their transgression, that they have acted defiantly. He also opens their ear to instruction and commands that they turn from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. But if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But if the hypocrites in hurt store up wrath, they do not cry for help when he binds them. They die in youth, and your life ends among the perverted persons. He delivers the poor in their affliction, and opens their ears in oppression. Indeed, he would have brought you out of dire distress into a broad place where there is no restraint. And what is set on your table will be full of richness. But you are filled with the judgment due the wicked, judgment and justice take a hold of you. Because there is wrath, beware lest he take you away with one blow. For a large ransom will not help you avoid it. Will your riches or all the mighty forces keep you from distress? Do not desire the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, do not turn to iniquity, for you have chosen this rather than affliction. Behold, God is exalted by his power, who teacheth his like him, who has assigned him his way, or who has said, you have done wrong. Elihu proclaims God's majesty. Remember to magnify his work, of which men have sung. Everyone has seen it. Man looks on it from afar. Behold, God is great, and we do not know him, nor can the number of his hairs be discovered. For he draws up drops of water, which still has rain from the mist, which the cloud drop down and pour abundantly on man. Indeed, can anyone understand the spreading of clouds, the thunder from his canopy? Look, he scatters his light upon it, and covers the depth of the sea. For by this he judges the peoples, he gives food in abundance, he covers his hands with lightning, and commands it to strike. His thunder declares it, the cattle also concerning the rising storm. Amen.